Unit 8. Predicting and Practicing 1. Exercise 2.
What's your name, please?
Gérard Ozeville.
How do you spell that?
First name Gerard. Surname Ozeville. Ozeville.
Thank you. And can I have your address, please?
Sure, it's 16A Aston Street.
How do you spell that?
Aston.
Thanks.
Ilfracombe, that's Ilfracombe. Postcode EX349GW.
And your telephone number?
It's 01272 863 990.
Can I take your credit card number, please?
It's 4893 9607 6220 4554.
Thanks. And the expiry date?
It's 11/19.
Thank you very much.
Can you confirm my booking, please?
No problem. Here it is. Check in the 16th of July, check out the 21st of July, one standard double room.
Thank you very much.
Hello, what are the prices for next Saturday evening?
It's €42 for the front rows of the stalls, that's rows A to H, and all other stall seats are $29.50. Circle seats are all $34.50.
Thanks. And what time does it start?
7:30.
Unit 8. Predicting and Practicing 1. Exercise 4. You will hear a woman phoning a hospital to ask about a job vacancy advertised in the local newspaper.
Good morning, Englefield Hospital Human Resources Department. My name's Dawn. How can I help you?
Hello, I'm calling about the job advertised in yesterday's evening news.
We have several jobs advertised at the moment. Which one are you calling about?
X-ray department receptionist.
Oh yes, I remember that vacancy. Right, can I just take some details first? Starting with your name, please.
Jill Addiston.
OK. Is that Jill with a J?
Yes, it is.
And how do you spell your surname, please?
It's ADDERSTONE.
OK, thank you. And can I take your address, please?
Sure. It's number 147 Bonham Street.
Is that BONHAM?
That's correct. And the city is Leicester.
And can I take your postcode too, please?
Of course. It's LE2 6HV.
Right. And just one more thing for the computer. Can I take your phone number, please?
I've just moved there and I only have a mobile at the moment. Is that okay?
That's no problem at all.
Right. It's... let me think. I keep forgetting it. It's 074 88 269 010.
Can I ask, do you have any previous experience of reception work?
Yes, I do. I've been a receptionist at the Imperial Hotel for the last 13 years, but it's closing down next month, unfortunately.
I see. I'm sorry to hear that. There's just one more question I need to ask you. When would you be available to start?
Just a moment while I look at my diary. OK. I could start from Monday the 11th of June.
That sounds fine. Well, we're interviewing Wednesday and Thursday next week. Is there any particular time you can't manage then?
Well, I can't do Wednesday, I'm afraid, as I'll be at work. But Thursday's one of my days off, so any time then would be OK?
10:30 a.m?
That's fine.
And you know where we are?
Yes, I do. The address is in the advertisement. But do you mind if I ask a couple of questions about the job? I'll have to travel quite a long way, and I want to be sure it's the kind of job I'm looking for.
OK, that sounds reasonable. What do you want to know?
Unit 8. Predicting and Practicing 2. Exercise 2. Extract 1.
So all my possessions will be covered, is that right?
No, not exactly. It covers all possessions except bicycles and cameras. You'd have to get a separate policy for each of those. Extract 2.
So what type of accommodation are you looking for exactly?
A one-bedroom flat. It's just for me, so I don't need anything larger.
Extract 3.
So now we just need to choose the restaurant.
Well, ideally we want somewhere that's not too expensive and a type of food that everyone likes. But the most important thing is that it's near the office. We'll be walking there and back, and we don't know what the weather will be like.
Unit 8. Predicting and Practicing 2. Exercise 4. You will hear a conversation in a school between a teacher and a parent of one of the pupils.
Hello, excuse me. Do you have a moment?
Yes, of course. How can I help?
I wondered if you could answer a few questions I have about the school trip next week. I think all the children were given a letter about it to give to their parents, but I'm afraid my son Ian lost his on the way home. I don't even know where he's going.
Oh, yes, you're Mrs. Ogilvy, is that right?
Yes, I am.
I don't teach Ian myself, but I know who he is. He's doing very well in the school football team. Anyway, the trip's to Whitsmead Wildlife Park.
Oh, yes, I know it. It's very nice.
The coach leaves at 8 a.m.
Where does it leave from? Outside the school?
No, not exactly. The road's too narrow there for coaches. It's leaving from the public car park.
The one next to the school?
That's right.
Will my son need to take a packed lunch?
Yes, he will.
And anything else?
No, that's all, I think. There's just one other thing. We're still waiting to hear from the coach company how long the journey's going to take, so we'll be phoning all the parents in a day or two to tell them the exact return time. But it'll be sometime between 5 and 6, probably.
I see. That's fine. But I'd better give the secretary my new contact details. We've just moved.
I'll make a note of them right now, if you like, and pass them to the secretary later. Would that be easier?
Yes, that's very kind of you.
I'll just get a pen. Bear with me for a moment.
Unit 8. Preparing to Answer 1. Exercise 3. You will hear a number of different recordings, and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and the questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. At the end of the real test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Section 1. You will hear 2 people discussing travel arrangements from an airport to a city centre. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You will see that there is an example which has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
So the flight lands at just after 11:30 in the evening. How are we going to get to the city centre?
I've got the airport website here on my phone. Let's have a look and see what the options are. I just need to find the right page. Yes, here we are.
What does it say?
There's a shuttle train. They go every half hour and it takes 12 minutes. Oh, that's quick.
The train journey takes 12 minutes. So the answer 12 minutes has been written into the table. Now we will begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
So the flight lands at just after 11:30 in the evening. How are we going to get to the city centre?
I've got the airport website here on my phone. Let's have a look and see what the options are. I just need to find the right page. Yes, here we are.
What does it say?
There's a shuttle train. They go every half hour and it takes 12 minutes. Oh, that's quick.
Not bad. How much does it cost?
It's $15.
That sounds okay.
But unfortunately they only run from 5 a.m. to 11:45, so that's no good. We'll be arriving just too late for the last one. Never mind. There's a 24-hour bus service. They go at 20 minutes past the hour, so if we miss the 12:20, we could get the 1:20.
How much is it?
It's only $11, but it takes 45 minutes. That's quite slow, and it's a long wait if we miss the 12:20.
What about a taxi?
It says here a taxi takes about 20 minutes. It doesn't give the cost, though.
It'll probably only be a bit more expensive than 2 bus tickets, and we won't have to wait.
The website gives a link to an airport taxi company. Let's have a look. Yes, it's got all the information here. It costs $38 and it's also a 24-hour service.
I think that's okay.
It's not a lot more expensive than the bus for 2 of us and much more convenient. They take advance reservations too.
I think we should book it then. Arriving at that time of night, we don't want to find that there aren't any taxis there.
I agree. Shall I read out the details and you write them down?
OK. What does it...
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10.
Normally, you go to their office in the arrivals hall in the airport, but after 10 p.m, the office is closed.
Oh, does it say what you have to do if you arrive later than that?
Yes, you have to call them when your plane lands.
That's okay. Our mobile phones will work there.
You give them a call when your plane lands, and then the taxi will be waiting for you outside the arrivals hall by a sign that says Airport Taxi Service. You have to pay the driver in cash, so we'll need some dollars.
Do you know if there's a cash machine at the airport?
Yes, there is. I used it last time I was there.
So that's no problem. Is there an online booking form?
No. To make a reservation, we have to phone the office between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. Or we can book by sending them an email. We just email them our details and then they'll send us a booking reference number which we have to show to the driver. That's all.
OK, let's do it by email then. It'll be easier than phoning. What's their email address?
It's info@ercancars.com. That's info@ercancars.com. Got that?
Yes.
Good. I'll open up the email on my phone and send them one right now.
Unit 8. Predicting and Practicing 3. Exercise 2.
Thank you for coming to this introductory talk. Firstly, I'd like to welcome you all to Beechwood Holiday Village, or welcome you back if you've stayed here before, of course. Well, first things first, sorry to start with this, but we've seen quite a few cars parked on the road leading to the town today. Please note that guests should park their cars in the designated area by the main entrance. At busy times that can become very full, and for when this happens, there's an overspill parking area to one side of the village, on the far side of the pool. There are always plenty of spaces there, and it's just by the river, so you won't get lost. We ask you not to leave your cars on the road because local residents use it to park on, and if they can't find a space, we get some angry phone calls. So thank you in advance for your understanding about this. Now, as I'm sure you're all aware, the village is divided into 2 zones. The larger zone at the front of the complex, where we are now, is the family zone. The children's play area is here, between the main car park and Sandcastle's restaurant, where we're sitting now. Of course, everybody is welcome in this part. Then on the other side of the river, we have the adults-only zone. I expect those of you who've checked into this part are hoping for a peaceful holiday. So those of you with kids, please do try to make sure they understand that they shouldn't cross the river. Down the far end of the adult zone is another restaurant and attached bar. As you'd expect, that's adults only. But it's open at lunchtime, so those of you with kids taking part in our Kids Club activities don't need to miss out. You can get yourself an excellent lunch there while we're entertaining your youngsters. Now, the path running alongside the river, that leads down to the beach, as I expect you've all discovered already. And of course our lovely barbecue area is down there on the sand. Oh, one last thing. I hope you all remembered to bring everything you need, but if there's anything you've forgotten, you may well find it for sale in our mini market. It's easy to find, right next to this restaurant and just a few steps from the swimming pool. You can't miss it.
Unit 8. Preparing to Answer 2. Exercise 3. You will hear a speaker talking to a group of local people who have come to hear about the arrangements for a boat show. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15. Listen carefully to the first part of the talk and answer questions 11 to 15.
Good afternoon. Thanks to you all for attending this planning meeting for this year's boat show. As you all know, it's the biggest boat show in the country, and this time we're expecting more visitors than ever before. So we need to make sure everything is properly planned and runs as smoothly as possible. Let's look first at the plan of the main show area. Does everybody have that? Good. Those of you who have been involved with previous boat shows here will notice that we've made some major changes. Instead of having several entrances, we've decided to have just one large one for visitors and a small service entrance off to one side for exhibitors and technical personnel. This means that if you're a visitor, the first thing you'll see when you enter is a digital information board showing the events of the day. Beyond that are some steps, and you go down these to the main display area, passing the first aid tent on your left, and then the main snacks and refreshments area on the right. Last year's catering wasn't a great success, to be honest. It made very little money for the show, and we're hoping to do much better this year with a much wider range of products. And on the subject of spending money, to install a couple of cash points just behind the refreshments area. We don't want people running out of cash while they're here. Anyway, going back to the main route through the showground, the steps lead down to the exhibition area. Now, before you reach the boats, you're going to see the stands of the smaller companies who make sails, navigation equipment, nautical paint, that kind of thing. The suppliers, in other words, rather than the boat builders. We've arranged it like this because last year, the companies with those stands complained that very few people visited them. This year, you'll have to go right past their stands in order to get to what most people will have come to see, all the very latest boat designs. So, there you have it. Quite a different layout to last year.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 16 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 16 to 20.
We've also made some changes to the ticketing arrangements. This year, we've started selling tickets 6 months in advance, instead of 3, and have already sold a lot, although this may be because we're actually reducing the cost of tickets this year. That's right, you heard correctly, we've cut the cost of normal tickets. We're also selling e-tickets online again this year, despite the technical problems we had last time. Then they were a little cheaper than paper tickets. The price of the online tickets remains unchanged, and they now cost the same as a paper ticket. Why are we reducing prices when everybody else is raising them? A criticism in the past has been that tickets are too expensive, and we want to make the show affordable for everybody. To compensate, we're raising the fees slightly for the exhibitors' stands, and we'll also add a bit to the price of the brochures. They sold extremely well last year, and nobody seemed to think they were too expensive. Another big change, as I've no doubt you're all aware, is that we've extended the show by 2 days. As well as increasing ticket sales, we're hoping this will help to ease some of the problems we've had in recent years with traffic congestion in the surrounding area. Connected with that, we're also hoping to encourage more local people to leave their cars at home by halving the price of the special shuttle bus from the city centre. Those are all the main points, I think. Are there any questions so far?